Lux your way with the Lux Cravings boxes from Taco Bell. There's the classic $5 box, the indulgent $7 box, and a whole new obsession in the $9 box, the Flamin' Hot Grilled Cheese Burrito. Try the Lux Cravings boxes at Taco Bell today.
The biggest contest we've ever seen.
Seriously, what's the guarantee?
They're still talking about it.
I think it's time to put the rumors to rest.
Showtime!
$30 million.
$30 million?
$30 million? $30 million?
That's $30 million guaranteed. 3 contests, multiple ways to win, no rate. Entry starting at $1,000. Enter in Nevada, play from anywhere.
Check out the all-new Blue and Orange store at the Boise State Hall of Fame. The Blue and Orange store has your best game day gear. We're talking jerseys, hats, bumper stickers, car flags, more than 4,000 hats on the hat wall. If you want the best Boise State gear, make sure you check out the Blue and Orange store online at theblueandorangestore.com or the all-new Blue and Orange store down at the Boise State Allen Noble Hall of Fame.
Sunny days call for Sun Cruiser Vodka Iced Tea. Made with real iced tea and real vodka. Refreshing and goes down smooth. Let the good times cruise with Sun Cruiser.
How's your day going?
Going good. Thank you. Yes.
When I want Boise State to win, I trust Coach Rice to lead the Broncos to victory.
And when I want the best painting and garage floor coating, I trust rowpaint.com to get that job done right.
Hey Bronco Nation, this is Shannon Keegren with Boise State Softball. Summer in Idaho is the best time of year. Rodeos, camping trips, and the hikes that end in views you'll never forget. At Lithia Ford of Boise, we're here to get you there. With a team known for incredible customer service, the best new and pre-owned inventory, and a commitment to making your experience easy, friendly, and fast. But here's the best part. Every purchase here helps support Boise State athletics through their NIL partnership and athletic sponsorships. See you soon at Lithia Ford of Boise, where Ford begins in Idaho.
This is Bronco Nation News Live. The best interviews, the most informed opinions, the latest breaking news, all from the top Boise State insiders. Bronco Nation News Live is the only daily show that talks nothing but Boise State sports. And we do it with you. Give us your comments or questions in the ICCU YouTube chat. Or leave us a voicemail on the Signature Roofing voice inbox at speakpipe.com/BNN. BNN broadcasts come from the Sun Cruiser Studios. Sunny days call for Sun Cruiser Vodka Iced Tea. Made with real iced tea and real vodka. It's refreshingly smooth and easy to drink. Crack open a Sun Cruiser and let the good times cruise. Bronco Nation News is presented by our title sponsor, Lithia Ford of Boise, and our major sponsors, Taco Bell, Idaho Central Credit Union, RoadPaint.com, and the Blue and Orange Store. At Lithia Ford of Boise, we're proud to stand with Boise State athletics. Through our NIL marketing partnerships, we're investing in the future of student athletes. Lithia Ford of Boise, here to get you there, wherever that may be. Lithia Ford of Boise, where Ford begins in Idaho. Broadcasting from the Sun Cruiser Studios, here's BJ Rains with another edition of Bronco Nation News Live.
What's up, Bronco Nation? Again, Lithia Ford of Boise, our title sponsor, Bronco Nation News Live here at bronconationnews.com. My name's BJ Rains. How we doing? It's Monday. It's July 6th. We got the big USA soccer game tonight, so we're all excited for that here in the Rains household, as I know most of you probably are as well. Been off for a couple days, so apologize for that. I'm catching my breath. I ran in here right as the show was starting. I was putting on my USA shirt. So Nathan Carroll is going to join me. We're going to talk about our new series, 26 storylines and questions about the Boise State football team in 2026. So we're going to do that here momentarily. We got Skyship checking in from 30,000 feet en route to the World Cup. How about that? Skyship is going tonight in Seattle. That is pretty awesome. Wow, I am jealous. Scott Ford, also jealous. Sunny Florida. Scott Ford, appreciate you for watching. Robbie Robinson, everybody's fired up there. We have Hunter checking in from his campfire next to Cascade Lake, not working until Wednesday. That is awesome. I am jealous and pretty cool. You get a signal out there, and you can watch that as well. Sorry, the hair is kind of crazy today. Wow. I got the hat I could put on here, I guess, if we want to go full USA. How about that? That'll work. I'm going to loosen it up. But we're excited to be back. I know last week was kind of crazy, folks. We had a couple days where we didn't do a show, and I've had some family in town. We've had some youth baseball stuff going on, but we are back and ready to roll on Bronco Nation News Live. Again, we'll be pretty much live every day. I say that, and then Thursday and Friday, we have the state baseball tournament this week. So we may try to change the show up to a little bit later or figure something out on Thursday and Friday. But that's hopefully the last couple of days that I'm going to have any kind of issues with the shows from here on out. We're going to have Media Day coming up in a couple of weeks. Boise State's putting something together for that. And we got a lot of different things we're working on, but we have had kind of just some sporadic shows, not shows every day. Apologize for that. I know a lot of you guys make this part of your daily routine to watch Bronco Nation News Live, and I apologize that we have not had daily shows, but we are pretty much back. As I said, Thursday and Friday of this week, just got the state tournament schedule. That could be an issue with some 8:45 a.m. games, but we're almost through this kind of weird stretch, and we're hoping to have pretty much daily shows from here on out at bronconationnews.com on all of our social media channels. And we do have that 50% offer going. Hope that you will sign up for that. But 25 questions. It's our countdown. And it starts off with, we started off last Monday. We actually went a whole week and didn't get anything discussed. And so we're behind, and we're going to hit 2 or 3 topics today, 2 or 3 tomorrow. We'll catch up. And our man Nathan Carroll, I know, is a busy man, but nice enough to pop on for a little bit today. Nathan, happy 4th of July weekend. Happy game day. And hope you're doing well, man. Appreciate you on short notice for jumping on. How we doing?
Yeah, doing well. Excited to be on, excited to talk a little bit of Boise State, and excited for the game tonight. I see you're already dressed up, ready to go. I've got a couple meetings this afternoon, so I'll be hopping into the jersey as soon as I get home tonight. But looking forward to it, man. Nothing like Boise State football, nothing like the World Cup. So excited to dive in.
Now, I'm a very average, basic soccer fan when it comes to rules and things like that. I mean, I know what offsides is and some of the basic rules, but when it comes to what should be a yellow card, what should be a red card, I have to take the professionals, thoughts on a lot of that. But they're asking me if I think that he should have played or not played today. I was surprised to see that yesterday. That was pretty crazy when that came in, but I my untrained eye, Nathan, said that was not worthy of a red card, and most people seem to agree with that. And know when you slowed it down, it was worse. I know Belgium and a lot of people are ticked off about it today, but I do believe in the end they got the decision right to let him play.
Yeah, it's a really weird situation, and this is where I'll acknowledge I like to think I'm a knowledgeable soccer fan, but I'm not a diehard, didn't play, don't know the ins and outs. And so I've seen a few different things. I know there were some reports that, the contention was they shouldn't have been able to use the VAR at all because of the way the challenge happened. Like it can't get escalated to VAR. I saw another report saying that, Balogun wasn't actually the one who challenged him. Therefore, the studs up doesn't qualify since the Bosnian player is the one who runs in behind him. So all I know is that FIFA is a great organization, would never do anything corrupt, and I'm excited to watch Flo Balogun play tonight and hopefully beat Belgium.
Yes, no doubt, no doubt. Kip says the World Cup just here to fill the gap before fall camp. That is certainly helping, and hopefully the only thing I saw is if they win today, the game Friday is at 1 o'clock or something, right?
Yes, yeah, I believe so. 1 o'clock.
People might have to take off work a little early on Friday, and we've got state baseball tournament game at 12:30 or something. That wouldn't be fun, but I'll have to figure something out. But either way, World Cup tonight. Excited for that. Hopefully everybody had a safe, happy 4th of July weekend. We had 5 baseball games on Sunday alone. My one son played 3 games yesterday. He had a game that started at 9 a.m. and a game that started at 6 p.m. That was a full day out at the fields yesterday, but there's nothing better. And trying to play catch up a little bit this morning with emails and things, and making sure all the stories are posted. Nathan, it's been a crazy week, and we've neglected our series and stuff, and so we're playing from behind. We're in the second week of the series online, but hitting the first week of the series today. So it is going to be a lot of Boise State football talk from here on out. I mentioned Thursday, Friday might be a small issue with the last. We have the official Cal Ripken State tournament, the biggest tournament of the year here, starting on Thursday. So I may have one more week, unfortunately, with a couple issues Thursday and Friday. We'll figure that out. But next couple days, and then obviously into next week, we're going to be full bore with this countdown. And last Monday, Nathan, you posted the first edition of the countdown. Can Boise State get more from the return game? Number 24, what does the offensive line look like going into the season? And then number 23, will the Pac be the best group of 6 conference? And so we'll see what we can get to here in the short time that we have. But again, 25 questions, 25 storylines, kind of like we did with the player series. There'll be an accompanying article online on the website. And then once we catch up the same day, we'll have the discussion on the show here with our various co-hosts talking about the storyline, the question, and obviously they'll get, bigger and more important and bigger questions as we move on through the series. But number 25, last Monday's question that we didn't get to, Nathan, can Boise State get more from the return game? And you said after years of being one of the most explosive return games in college football, Boise State has just one kick or punt return touchdown over the past 4 years. That seems pretty hard to believe. Can the Broncos get back to being one of college football's premier return units? You wrote the story. It's our first question in the series. I'll kind of open the floor to you. Can Boise State get more from the return game? Question number 25 in our series.
Yeah, I mean, like you said, over the last 4 years, that one return touchdown was Dylan Riley against Utah State in a game that Boise State scored, I want to say, 63 points in. So they really haven't had an impactful return game, especially in impactful games, right? There's no big returns against the Washingtons, the Oregons, right? And it's something that obviously you go back through the history of Boise State football, and you've got a lot of guys, a lot of big names who are getting 2-3 punt return, kick return touchdowns a year, whether you're talking about, an Avery Wilson or an Avery Williams, a Kyle Wilson, a Quentin Jones, right? Like, there's a long history here of Bronco players, and Boise State having a strong special teams unit and a strong return game just hasn't been the case in recent seasons. So, without spoiling the whole article, go through and kind of touch on where things were last year. They brought in Malik Sherrod to be sort of the guy in the return game. And I think it's fair to say that just in the return game, things were a little bit discouraging. Longest kick return was 41 yards, averaged 21.4 yards per return. The punt returns weren't very strong. Long was just 17 yards. And even according to PFF, Sherrod had 3 muffed punts last year, right? So you bring in Malik Sherrod, hopefully to fix the return game, and really just wasn't the case. So from there, kind of speculate on some of, who could potentially be in that return game this year. Mentioned Cam Bates, who has a little bit of experience back there. They bring in a transfer from D3 Brevard College, Jeremiah Lane, who he's, I think, listed on Boise State roster at 140 pounds. I mean, you throw on his tape, he's a tiny, tiny human. So we'll see what comes of that. But yeah, it's certainly something that for a long time sort of defined Boise State football, and certainly over the past 4 years just has not been the case that they're getting that impact in the return.
All right, and I know this would take a lot of game tape to watch and all this, so maybe this is an unfair question, but are you seeing it more in scheme, in not opening up lanes for guys, not attempting as many, maybe? I mean, or is this just the actual returners themselves not being as talented? Is it bad luck on some of these not breaking? I mean, do you have any idea why the return game has only produced the one touchdown in the 4 years here?
I mean, it's not the sexy answer, but I think it's a combination of all the things, right? In general, they're getting less returns, right? More teams are just playing, hey, let's just kick the ball out of the back of the end zone, not give up a potential kick return at all, right? So that obviously factors into part of it. But, I think part of it is you don't have quite the explosive athletes that you're used to. I mean, those guys that we talked about, Avery Williams is an NFL guy. Kyle Wilson's an NFL guy, right? John Hightower, when he was here, like that was an NFL guy. The Broncos haven't had their very best back there returning kicks as of late. No shade to like a Malik Sherrod or to Steph Cobbs, who was the returner back in like 2021. But those aren't NFL guys that you're throwing back there trying to make major impact plays. And then it's not like there's wide open lanes that, a Sherrod or whoever is missing, right? Like the blocking needs to be a little bit better as well. And I think that's one thing that in general, I personally have a little bit more excitement about this team and the special teams on this team. Feels like Boise State's pretty deep this year. A lot of guys who look like they're ready to contribute, and I think they'll find roles on special teams. So I think it's a combination of all those things, but I'm hopeful and optimistic that there could be some improvement this year.
Surf City Bill, I'm putting you on the spot here, but do you know how many returns they've given up during that same last 4-year stretch where they've only had one? And then Kip Booten saying, are we going to have more conversations about Stacey Collins this year? Seems likely.
So to answer the first question, off the top of my head, there's the 2 against Oregon and then the 1 against Fresno. So the top of my head, I go with 3, and I'm probably missing 1 somewhere in there. So it's definitely been a net negative, the return game for Boise State. Stacey Collins, I defend a little bit more than most. Obviously, the week one was a catastrophe for special teams. But really, you go past week 1, and the special teams units at that point were, I would say, kind of a net neutral for Boise State, right? After week 1, they weren't giving up the big returns. They weren't giving up the fake field goals or the fake punts. And, I do give a lot of credit for the touchdown against New Mexico where it's a muff snap. They go into their fire drill and Troy Grizzle catches a touchdown, right? Like ultimately that comes down to, players are making plays, but the coaches clearly prepped them for that situation. Everybody knew exactly what they needed to do. So, Stacey Collins is one of those coaches that I think gets a lot of grief and certainly understand it with special teams not being as impactful as Bronco Nation is used to. But I do think last year after week 1, I thought the special teams unit was solid for most of the season.
All right, so overall, final thing, wrapping up this question, can they? I mean, are you expecting it to be different? Is it the law of averages have to play out at some point here? Are you concerned again? What would kind of be your final answer if you had to predict an answer to this question here going into the season?
Yeah, I'd say I'm more optimistic, right? Just off dumb luck alone, you would expect to probably get at least 1 more return touchdown this season, right? If only 1. And they do have some guys back there who I think are very explosive and could be high impact players, right? Obviously, we mentioned Jeremiah Lane, mentioned Cam Bates. Quentin Brown was someone who had 4 touchdowns during his junior and senior seasons in high school in the return game. Terrius Favors, I know he's a true freshman and may not earn the job immediately, but he's someone who's extremely explosive, extremely quick. I could see him carving out a role on special teams. And then, I mean, the guy that we've talked about all spring long, Rayshawn Jones, actually has quite the history to him as a kick returner. He had 2,
and they were using him some there too in spring.
Yep, he was doing some work there in spring, and then in high school had two kick return touchdowns, and at Rocky, and then going back to his time at Baker High School, they're harder to find the robust stats, but did see some tweets that he had 2 kick return touchdowns in 1 game at Baker High School. So obviously Baker High School, it's not Boise State football, it's not the Pac-12, but I think there's enough guys that they should be able to find somebody who can make a little bit more of an impact in the return game.
All right, question 25. Again, can Boise State get more from the return game? You can read the full article, BroncoNationNews.com right now. 50% off, by the way, for our summer special. If you want to jump in, 50% off. And I've had some of you ask, by the way, your subscriptions are renewing at the full price. And if that's happening and you're asking how you can now get access to the Paramount Plus subscription, I did post to the VIP message boards a link with a kind of tutorial from 247 Sports about how to do that. So if you're trying to sign up for your Paramount Plus subscription and you have renewed at the full price, which we appreciate you. We're just past 1 year here, and hundreds of those are now going through, and we appreciate all of you guys that have done that and stuck on board with us. And as a thank you, you now get the Paramount Plus subscription, which more than makes the full price deal still worth it. You can, again, if you're having trouble figuring it out, if you have Paramount Plus already, I think you need to cancel it and then use a new email with this version to sign up. But there's ways to go on there and do that. You can read that in the VIP message boards if you do have any questions, again, at BroncoNationNews.com. Go to the VIP message boards, and again, you'll see that post there, and I can help you out. Email me, Rains at Bronco Nation News, if you have any other questions on that. All right, the offensive line, what's that going to look like going into the season? We'll get to that in just a second. Do want to thank Lithia Ford of Boise, our title sponsor, LithiaFordBoise.com. They got some great deals going on right now. Check them out, Fairview Avenue in Boise, online, LithiaFordBoise.com. View that full inventory. They're taking care of Spencer Danielson. They're taking care of Jeremiah Dickey. They're taking care of your favorite players. You can, have the same vehicle they do. Lithia Ford of Boise. Check them out online, LithiaFordBoise.com. Hey, Pearson Carmichael, he's back with ICCU for another year, and he's back with Boise State and ICCU, big sponsor of us here at Bronco Nation News. There's a branch pretty much on every corner, but the easiest, that mobile eBranch online banking right there in your smartphone. Make the switch today, folks, ICCU.com. And again, they're now an official sponsor with Bronco Sports Properties in Learfield, and they're in the NIL game at Boise State. So return the favor, support the companies that are supporting the Broncos, and that includes Idaho Central Credit Union. Another one of those is Jackson's, where you can get that 99-cent, the 99-cent Let's Go Rewards Bigger Fountain Drink, and that's during the World Cup. 99 cents for the Bigger Fountain Drink using your Let's Go Rewards app. And don't forget, you can get that $32 in savings for Roaring Springs when you buy 2 Coca-Cola products from our friends at Jackson's and Extra Mile. Again, $32 in savings from our friends at Jackson's and Extra Mile. And hit up Sun Cruiser. They got some great beverages, whether you're watching the World Cup, whether you're golfing. It could be the iced tea vodkas, the lemonade vodkas, so many flavors, so many options. You can get it at Jackson's. You can get it at Ridley's, your local gas station, grocery store. Sun Cruiser had a couple of those over the weekend. I know, Nathan, you're a Sun Cruiser fan. World Cup tonight might be a nice night to sip on a Sun Cruiser. So Surf City Bill says, just fired up my Paramount Plus subscription. All right, so it sounds like it worked for you, Surf City Bill. Appreciate that. And again, any other questions, reach out and let us know. We'll help you with that. All right, question 24 as we move along here. I know Chris wrote this article, but you're obviously still involved in this, Nathan. What is the offensive line going to look like going into the season? Obviously, the biggest question, is replacing Cage Casey. The biggest question mark, how is that going to look? How is that going to go? And then certainly Mason Randolph at center. Significant holes there. Had some guys that got time at other spots throughout the season, and some guys moved around. And there is some, you got Roger Carrion. You got some nice guys with experience coming back, a Daylon Matoyer, the Steele brothers. I mean, there's some guys there, but to start out with, replacing Cage Casey, replacing Mason Randolph, and we think we know who those guys are going to be, but the drop-off level from them to the guys that were there last year, I guess, is going to be the question. But what's your take on the offensive line this year and what that's going to look like?
Yeah, you said it. The key question is going to be, how do you replace Cage Casey, and where do the other guys fill in, right? At left tackle, I think at this point it's safe to assume it's going to be Tyler Etheridge. I mean, he was the guy in the spring game, and throughout most of spring, he looked like the best left tackle. Still a lot of time to go in fall camp. Someone else could win that job, but Tyler Etheridge seems like the guy. And how impactful is it if you go from an NFL draft pick in Cage Casey to Tyler Etheridge, and how much is a downgrade, if at all? I mean, who knows? Maybe Tyler Etheridge comes in and he's just as good as Cage Casey was. It's certainly possible. So that's probably the guy at left tackle. You feel good about the guard spots. Jason Steele at left, Roger Carrion at right. You feel solid there. Center, you lose Mason Randolph, but there's a lot of experience on the interior offensive line, guys who you have seen playing time before, and if they needed to play, feel like could step in, whether it's Xander Esty, who had played at Oregon State, or a Carson Rasmussen, who's played a little bit here and there over the past couple of years. But seems like the guy is going to be sophomore Stuart Taufa, and we haven't seen much of him, and I'm certainly by no means an expert in center play. So I see what I see at fall camp. The coaches like him. It doesn't seem like he's making big mistakes, but he's going to be one of the key components of this offensive line. And
he's really, technically a redshirt freshman, I believe.
Yeah, that might be right. When the 5 for 5 rule passes, it all ends up being the same anyway. So
it's a second year, sophomore,
yeah,
second
year
we're
guy.
going to look at it.
Yes, second year guy, and so we'll see how he steps in. The key spot for me is at right tackle. Dalen Matoyer was the starter last year, and it wasn't a great year. Had a ton of penalties, gave up a team high, I believe, 36 pressures at right tackle, and really, Cage Casey being so dominant at left tackle helped give a lot of help over to Dalen Matoyer's side. I mean, you go watch the games, and there's a lot of times where he's getting tight end help, he's getting guard help, he's getting running back help, right? Well, you don't have Cage Casey on the left anymore, right? You might need to bring a tight end over there or a running back over there from time to time. So they need Dalen Matoyer to have a major developmental year, or maybe it's someone else stepping up in that spot too. Jacob Tracy, he's a redshirt freshman. He's someone that, going back to last fall camp, I've been pretty impressed with. I think whether it's this year or in the future, Jacob Tracy's probably going to play quite a bit for the Broncos. So whether it's Dalen Matoyer, whether it's someone else, I think that spot at right tackle is going to be the key one. They just needed to be better than it was last year. And I think the best way to probably mitigate the loss of Cage Casey is if you can get better right tackle play and kind of be steady along the offensive line instead of having sort of your all-star at left and then sort of the weak point at right. I think that's probably the best way to ultimately replace, quote-unquote, Cage Casey.
Now, a couple notes. Dalen Matoyer, second most snaps on the entire team, I believe, last season. Is that correct? 908 is what I saw in that. It's 900. Where I lost my 908 offensive snaps. And as you said, did only allow one sack, but did have the pressures and things, and that's going to certainly be a question mark. Having Matoyer over there, and you have some guys, some experience, but he at least was on the team last year. You go to the left side, you have a new guy completely, like you said, in Tyler Etheridge. What's your, he's listed at 6'3", 308. I've said this a couple times when I see him out there. Maybe I'm used to seeing Cage Casey. He just looks small to me at left tackle. I know Brad Bedell says, hey, 6'3" is not, super small for a left tackle to be 6'3", 308, but he just obviously doesn't have the same body build as a Cage Casey did. So to me, he looks quote unquote small out there. But with that said, coming from D2, I know the numbers were impressive. The tape's impressive, whatever, but what's your level of concern, confidence in him sliding in from CSU Pueblo and just not having any issues this year?
I think there's a good chance that he's solid, right? Ultimately, a lot of times where you end up out of high school comes down to measurables and potential, right? Like a guy like Cage Casey is a great example of, he lands at Boise State because he had great high school film, but he also had, a 6'5" frame, could get up to 315, right? And that's something that appeals to a Boise State. Tyler Etheridge, a little bit shorter arms, but from pretty much the moment he stepped on campus at CSU Pueblo, he dominated. And so I think there's a chance that he comes in and maybe he's not a NFL player in terms of having the body type, but he plays really well and is a really good college player, right? I think there's certainly potential for that. I think he had a strong spring. Boise State has a ton of really good edge rushers, and when those guys were winning, it seemed like it was against guys other than Tyler Etheridge. So I'm excited about it. I think he's a really good athlete. I mean, we saw it on the spring game, right? Like him rumbling with that touchdown on the screen pass. Obviously, is that going to translate? Is he going to catch screen passes in the season? Probably not. But what you do see is the athleticism. He's light on his feet. And I think that's going to translate well to playing in the Pac-12. So I'd say in general, I'm optimistic about Tyler Etheridge. But certainly if you're a fan and you haven't been to spring practices, that's going to be a point of concern going from Cage Casey to a guy from CSU Pueblo.
And what about Roger Carrion? I mean, he's kind of the guy that we're all talking about being a team leader, maybe a team captain. He's had injuries, in the past that have cost him games. Last season, he played every game, I believe, but dealt with some significant injuries still while he was playing. I mean, is he a guy that if he's healthy and plays, he's going to be an NFL player next year? Or is he getting hype just because he's been here for that long and has been the guy? Or where do you see Roger Carrion fitting into like Mountain West offensive lineman and just his future here? And obviously he's got to stay healthy.
Yeah, the big thing for Carrion is just
Pac-12 now, I should say.
Yeah.
That's my first one. I'll put the $5 in the kitty. Sorry.
There you go. Yeah, that thing's going to be full by the time we get to about week 4, I imagine. But yeah, the big thing for Roger Carrion's health. When he's been healthy at the start of the seasons, he's been excellent at right guard. The PFF grades on him, the way the coaches talk about him, it's always positive. And then the story of his time at Boise State has just been the injuries, and a lot of times it's been freak accidents. I believe against Oregon, it was a broken leg, right? Like that's not a guy not taking care of his body. That's, hey, someone rolled up on you and a bone snapped. That's not something that's sustainable. So hopefully this year, last year you said it, played every single game, and it sounds like had some underlying stuff going on throughout the season that may have affected performance. But I think the floor for Roger Carrion is, if he's healthy, you're getting a solid starter that you probably don't have to worry about much. And the upside is certainly there to be an NFL guy, right? Like the coaching staff has talked about him in that sense ever since he got on campus. Of, even as a true freshman, he was seeing minutes, something that you don't see regularly at the FBS level. And so I think the upside is there for him to be an NFL guy. Obviously, how does the medical history check out? That's so big for the draft stuff where, guy can look great, be a 4th rounder, but if they don't like the medicals, he goes undrafted, right? So all that to say, for his time at Boise State, I think he's a high floor player when he's healthy and has the chance to be certainly an all Pac-12 kind of offensive lineman if he can put together a strong season. And I think he's shown in flashes that he's able to do that.
All right, wrapping up this question 24 here, the offensive line. Generally, you feel positive about it? Are you concerned? What's your overall take? Because obviously they're going to rely on the running game a lot, and they're going to need this offensive line and lean on them at times this year.
Yeah, I'd say in general, I feel confident about it. And a lot of that just comes down to Tim Keene. Ever since Tim Keene stepped into this program, the offensive line feels like it's gone up a level. And each year it feels like we'll have 1 or 2 question marks on the offensive line. How's left guard going to look? How's right tackle going to look? And time again, like those issues just end up getting solved. I think Tim Keene's one of the best offensive line coaches in the country. What he's done at Boise State's been really, really impressive. And so, in terms of just the players, certainly have some concerns there, right, at center and at the 2 tackle spots. But I trust that Tim Keene's going to figure it out and put together a good unit. So in general, I'd say I'm optimistic given where maybe some of the concerns lie, right, with those holes. So I think it'll probably get fixed and get to a good spot by the time the season starts.
All right. Well, we're going to tackle one more question. Do you have a few more minutes, Nathan? I don't know your schedule here.
Yeah, I've got time. All
right. We're going to try to tackle one more question here as we continue to catch up on the 25 questions here. And we're going to do that. This is a big picture, I think, question that you had this great schedule planned all these days with certain co-hosts. And, we got to have a Pac-12 one come out on the first day of the Pac-12. And then we didn't even have a show to be able to talk about it or something that day. So I ruined your all your planning and everything. So I apologize. But a Pac-12 related question here as we continue on our 25 questions and storylines looking at the Boise State football team in 2026. And we'll do that in just a second. But I want to thank Taco Bell, TacoBellWorks.com, the SON Management Group, the Nicolason family folks. They just donated $1 million to Boise State Athletics. Return the favor. Get the family out to Taco Bell, breakfast, lunch, dinner, you name it. Treasure Valley Taco Bell location. Support the Nicolason family, SON Management Group, for their $1 million donation. The food's delicious. The prices are great. It's quick. Visit Treasure Valley Taco Bell location today. Hey, the Blue and Orange store. You can get all your Boise State officially licensed merchandise, whether it's at the mall location, the Hall of Fame location there down at Boise State, or online anywhere in the world, theblueandorange.store.com. Those customized jerseys, caps, bumper stickers, car flags, you name it, the official in-venue provider of Boise State merchandise. That is the Blue and Orange store, online at theblueandorange.store.com. Matt Bauscher Real Estate, 252-9877. Matt Bauscher and Bauscher Real Estate, #1 ranked realtor in the Northwest is Matt Bauscher. He helped us buy and sell our home last summer, and he can do the same for you. You get to meet everybody in the picture there because the customer service and the attention to detail is unmatched when you use Bauscher Real Estate. So we appreciate that, Matt and his team. You can get more information at BauscherRealEstate.com, and our friends at Signature Roofing, online at mysignatureroofing.com. They've been covering our community one roof at a time for more than 2 decades. If you need a completely new roof, maybe a repair to your roof, an inspection, an estimate, you name it, Signature Roofing is ready to help you out. Signature Roofing, again, online at mysignatureroofing.com. All right, Nathan, we're going to continue this here with question number 23 in our countdown. Again, all these stories or all these topics have full stories right now at BroncoNationNews.com. Some of these we're keeping free for everybody to read. Others we're putting behind the paywall. So if you want to not miss any kind of our content, you can jump in at 50% off right now at BroncoNationNews.com. And we got a lot of great content coming. It's the perfect time to gear up before fall camp. Question number 23, will the Pac-12 be the best group of 6 conference? Simply put, Nathan Carroll, how do you answer the question? Will the Pac-12 be the best group of 6 conference this season?
Well, I certainly think it's going to be the deepest, right? I think that the appeal of this Pac-12 and the move was not necessarily that you're adding a bunch of other high-end group of 6 conferences or a group of 6 teams. It's you're getting rid of a lot of sort of the bottom half of the Mountain West, right? Something I mentioned in the article, and I've talked about it plenty, of the teams who were in the Mountain West last year, every non-COVID football champion is now in the Pac-12, right? The only team in the current iteration of the Mountain West who have won a Mountain West championship is San Jose State. So move it over to Pac-12, you've got a lot of you've got the best teams from the Mountain West. You throw in a Washington State, an Oregon State, a Texas State who's been on the rise in the Sun Belt, and you really don't have a bad team. One of the things I talk about in the article is just how high the floor is, right? If you think that the American is the best conference in the group of 6, that's fine, but the American has some teams that are at the bottom of the conference. Every group of 6 conference has at least one team who's in the bottom 10 of SP Plus, advanced metric that Bill Connolly uses to sort of predict team success. It's been one of the best tools that we have in advanced analytics. And every group of 6 conference has a team in the bottom 10 of preseason SP Plus, except the Pac-12. Colorado State checks in at 99, which obviously it's not super high, but when that's your worst team is a top 100 team, it shows the depth that this conference has. There's not going to be any easy games. There's not going to be any walkovers. Ultimately, though, when it comes to CFP bids, typically you're going to get judged by your top and your top half. And I think the Pac-12 is positioned in a really good spot to right away be one of the best teams or be the best group of 6 conference, I should say. Historically, obviously, it's been the American that's sort of been there back when you had the UCF and the Houston and the Cincinnati. But with those teams leaving, with SMU leaving, they had a great season last year, but a lot of the American got pillaged last year, right? Tulane loses their head coach. North Texas loses their head coach. Memphis loses their head coach. ECU loses their offensive coordinator and their star quarterback, right? Like the American just got absolutely taken outside of pretty much Navy and Army. And now the Pac-12 is in a really good spot where Boise State looks like they're probably going to be one of, if not the best group of 6 team this year. I think San Diego State with Sean Lewis has really good, strong program momentum. I would say the same with Fresno State and Matt Entz. Texas State's a program under G.J. Kinney that's trending in the right direction. It feels like with the American losing a lot of their best head coaches last year, the Pac-12 is a conference that has a lot of sort of those up-and-coming head coaches that you'd expect to start getting high major jobs here in the next 2 years. I think the Pac-12 is in a good spot.
Yeah, I would agree with you on that. And you're right. The American did get pilgrimage badly from a coaching standpoint. And you do look on the, people want to say whatever about Fresno basketball, whatever, but Fresno on the football side, what Utah State's done on the football side, and with, Mendenhall, now you expect that to continue to rise. And Colorado State, has had some tough years, but now with more coming in and they have the facilities, I think that. And then obviously San Diego State is, I think they have a lot going for them, and Boise State as well here moving forward. And I like what Washington State did with Moore, and I think Oregon State with their, renovations they did to their stadium and the NIL money they have now they've been pouring in. I certainly like them as well. And you're right about Texas State as well. I mean, let's just say it. I know in 5 years, this whole thing's probably going to get blown up again anyway, but let's just say 10 years just to make the math work. I mean, out of a 10-year stretch here, what are we thinking? I mean, should the Pac-12 get 4 out of 10 or something like that? I mean, I know you would think, they got to get 6 out of 10, but let's just kind of be realistic. The last 10 years, Boise State had 3 or whatever. It's not like it's been something that's been a yearly occurrence here, but are we looking at 4 or 5, maybe you're hoping 3, 4 for them, then maybe 2, 3 for the American or something, and then 1 out of 10 for the Mountain West or something. I mean, I know the way the schedule lines up, a UNLV could be in a position just based on record solely, not necessarily talent to sneak in there. But how do you kind of see the breakdown? Maybe if on average, if you're looking at like the next 10 years, what would you expect or hope the Pac-12 could do?
If 3.5 feels like sort of the right over/under, you'd expect maybe 3 to 4 from the American, from the Pac-12, and then you've got your 1 or 2 seasons from the Mountain West, your 1 or 2 seasons from the Sun Belt, the current iterations of the Conference USA and MAC, maybe gets one, but I mean the way with where those conferences are at, it's really sort of I think college football has really developed itself into a 5-tier system more than it's just Power 4 and Group of 6. Obviously you've got the SEC and Big Ten on top. Those two are the conferences competing for national titles. And then you've got to step down to the Big 12 and the ACC. And then to me, it's a step down to the Pac and the American, and then the Mountain West and the Sun Belt, and then, the Conference USA and MAC. And that's where I think really over the next 10 years, it's, you'd like to get 3 or 4, if not more CFP appearances, but can you close that gap to the ACC and Big 12, where the ACC and Big 12 they're moving apart from the Big 10 and SEC? Can you be closer to the ACC and Big 12 than you are to maybe the bottom teams in the group of 6? I think that's going to be a key component for the Pac-12. You talked about this probably going to blow up, and I think it's 2031 when the ACC media rights comes up, and that's when kind of the tea leaves say there's a good chance Florida State, Clemson, Miami blow up the ACC. I think ideally the Pac-12 positions itself so that when that next round of realignment comes, a good number, if not the whole conference, is getting picked up by a Big 12 or an ACC as they lose members, right? And so I think that's really what the next 5-6 years is about, continually positioning this conference, not just at the top, not just Boise State winning 5 straight Pac-12 championships and going to 5 straight CFPs, which obviously everyone in our chat would love, right? That would be the dream. But more than that, just continuing to build up the middle and bottom of the conference to positioning yourself to potentially having a favorable outlook when realignment does come.
Vlad says, I like Nathan. He's smart.
Hey, thanks, Vlad.
There we go.
Appreciate it. I don't know about being smart, but appreciate the support and the kind words.
Hey, we have Signature Roofing. We also have Element Fencing, some great sponsors here at Bronco Nation News. ElementFencing.com, 631-2790. Whether it's a deck, a pergola, new fence, or repair to your fence, all your fencing needs. Family owned, serving the community for more than 25 years. Brady and his staff ready to help you out right now. ElementFencing.com. Check them out. Tell them BNN sent you, and they'll hook you up with a great deal. And Ridley's Family Markets, went to that Star location a couple weeks ago. The checkout, so easy to use. Brand new self-kiosk for the checkout. Great food, great selection, great prices. The Cuna location, been there plenty as well. Check them out, folks. ShopRidleys.com. Think local. Think an Idaho-owned, family company. Ridley's Family Markets. Next time you need a trip to the grocery store, think Ridley's Family Market. Same goes for RowPaint.com. Andy Rowe and Company. Appreciate Andy Rowe for his support of BNN since day one. And whether it's interior, exterior painting, those concrete coatings, industrial, commercial, residential, they can do it all. All your painting needs. Hit up our friends at rowpaint.com. And folks, the second session of the Horseshoe Collective basketball camp is coming. My son Naismith and his friend went to the camp, had a great time. It's awesome. You get a lot of one-on-one time with these Boise State athletes. It's not a huge number of kids that go to these camps. They keep it small, so you get a lot of personalized one-on-one attention. You get autographs, pictures. You get to hang out, talk to these guys. And the next one's coming up here in a couple of weeks, July 18th and 19th, the Horseshoe Collective basketball camps. Registration is going on now at horseshoecamps.com. I believe there's some discounts and things, but my son did it, and I can recommend it. He had a really good time and enjoyed it. So if you're interested in the Horseshoe Collective basketball camps, I highly, highly recommend getting your kid in there, and it's worth the price. It's a little pricier than maybe a typical camp, but like I said, you get a lot of one-on-one attention. You get a cool shirt, some autographs, and it's a really cool deal and a lot of instruction. Horseshoecamps.com. Check it out right now and reach out to me if you have any questions. But horseshoecamps.com, session 2 coming up of the Horseshoe Collective basketball camp. And there's my son right there. Got his photo with some of the players during the camp. Pearson Carmichael. You got Ethan Lathan, and the crew was out there helping him out. So we appreciate Bun and Ray and all those guys for helping out. Nate Smith had a great time. There's the shirt you get. So session 2, sign up at horseshoecamps.com. All right, so we're 3 down, Nathan. I appreciate you. We knocked off 3 of them. We're still behind in the series. We'll try to continue to catch up, but I know today's question that you just posted this morning, if you want to give a tease on the way out here, question 20, does the offensive personnel look different this season? Give us a quick tease if folks want to go read about this online, and then obviously we'll catch up here with a bigger discussion on it in the coming days.
Yeah, it's kind of a nerdy question, right? If you're kind of a football X's and O's guys like I am, just dive into some of the personnel usage. I mean, Boise State run a lot of 2-3 tight end sets, and they did that when they had a bunch of tight ends on the roster you felt really good about, right? A Matt Wagner, a Matt Lauder. How do things look different now that Matt Wagner is kind of the one tight end you feel really good about? And it seems like there's a lot of running backs and wide receivers who can contribute. So does the offense look different? If so, how does it look different? Just dove into some of the numbers behind that.
All right, well, folks can read that again at BroncoNationNews.com. We're going to catch up on the series here over the next couple of days. Give us a score prediction for tonight's game, Nathan.
I'll go 2-1. 2-1. Balogun gets one, which will just enrage Belgian fans. But you were texting me about it, I think, back in the round of 32. Just like, oh, what do you think about Belgium? I was like, right now they're more of a name than a team. They've got a lot of weak spots, and they're kind of old. So, Kevin De Bruyne is still scary. I can't think of the striker's name right now, but he's scary. But I think the U.S. is good. And I actually saw, I don't know if you saw this, the U.S. is actually favored to advance in this one, which caught me a little off guard. I didn't expect the books to reflect that, but I'll go 2-1. I feel good about the U.S. tonight.
I think at one point they were even favored even when he was out. So I don't know. It's crazy to – yeah, and a lot of that is just the betting market, and it's mostly USA people betting on it. I get it. But, we'll see. Should be fun tonight. I think 6 o'clock game. Hope everybody enjoys it, has fun. I think Jay Tuss will join me tomorrow. We'll keep this series going. Again, BroncoNationNews.com. Go subscribe right now. 50% off. Knock it out now. One-time fee, and then you're good to go for fall camp, for the season, and everything. So take advantage of this 50% offer right now at BroncoNationNews.com. You get all the recruiting updates, all the team updates. We'll be with the Broncos at home, on the road all season, bringing you content and coverage. So appreciate you, Nathan, for jumping on. Thanks for your work on this series. We'll be reading you at BroncoNationNews.com. We'll get you on again soon. Hope everybody has a great day. Enjoy the soccer, and we'll talk to you later. Bronco Nation News Live, BroncoNationNews.com.